Hey, what up, guys? So I've been kind of liking doing these Bleacher Report articles. Been kind of hitting up for the past couple of days. So kind of go on this trend right here. This article did pop up, and I think it was a good one to jump into. So Mr. Andy Bailey, a Bleacher Report for NBA basketball talk. So basically, it's going to be going over potential trade packages to get the NBA's top stars over the top, and as Bleacher Report, they actually came out with their top 100 players for this season, and they already listed them out. I do have another video that goes more depth on that. But currently for their top 10, and it looks like they have two names missing, but and they're going to go over here to help them out for any trade packages for the following season. Giannis, LeBron, Kawhi, Luka, Nikola Jokic, Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, and Chris Middleton. So this should be interesting. So number one, for the Miami Heat. Before we jump into their trade package or proposal for Mr. Bailey, I've always stated with the Miami Heat, they're a top A1 organization, top class. You have Pat Riley running everything. He does have a spine and structure, as well as people look at the Heat and they respect it, kind of like in the mafia per se. But you do have Eric Spoelstra, who's been there for over a decade or so as a head coach for that team. So there's not a lot of high turnover when it comes to the Heat, as well as the foundation. So with Miami, they are looking to bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo and Victor Oladipo in the 2021 free agency class. That's nothing there's nothing that's been quiet upon. They've shared it many times. There was rumors as well as they admittedly let that know. So they're looking to add with Jimmy Butler on the team, as well as two other stars in their direction. So I think if they're going to save cap space and go that route, they pretty much have to keep the same team as it is for next season. Maybe bring in like a DeMar DeRozan or just like a big time player just for a 1 year contract when it comes to it. So they're probably going to sign a lot of 1 year deals for this offseason if that's their plan. There's not a lot of big stars when it comes to the 2020 free agency class, so it makes sense anyways. Just to keep it for veterans as of right now. Look for 2021. When it comes to it. So let's see what playmaker they are looking to propose here with Mr. Andy Bailey. So here's the trade details and proposal. Let's see. It would be for Andre Iguodala and a 2020 first round pick for Spencer Dinwiddie and Musa. So Andre Iguodala, I mean, he's 36 years of age. They signed him for a 2 year contract, and whenever that does expire, that's whenever Giannis and Victor Oladipo can use that cap space to join it if that's necessary. I wouldn't make this move for Spencer Dinwiddie. You already do have Gordon Dragic. He could re-sign or not. You can be able to let him walk. I think the Heat probably will. But if not, they'll probably sign him for a 1 year deal left when it comes to it. I mean, this deal doesn't really do any justice when it comes to the Miami Heat as of right now. They're already fine with the young cat Nunn as the point guard as of right here. Spencer Dinwiddie, I mean, he's a great guard whenever he's on the Brooklyn Nets. He won't have the shine, let alone the presence to have the ball in his hands because Kyrie Irving's now on the show, let alone Kevin Durant's going to return. So there's going to be a high demand for the ball and be in their hands. And Spencer Dinwiddie would have to play more of a six-man role. If he were to join the Miami Heat, they would most likely start him if that's the case. I really don't care for this move if that were to happen, so I'm not going to really talk too much into it. I like Iguodala if he were to join the Nets, but I don't think that will happen. They signed him for a 2 year contract for a reason. Next, what we do have here is the Portland Trail Blazers break up its core. So I've had two different scenarios the Blazers can go with in their direction because they definitely need to retool. I mean, their peak was in 2019 when they made the conference finals. Damian Lillard will never sniff that ever again. And same thing, very similar to James Harden back in 2018. Harden's never going to see that close to a conference Game 7 to get to the finals. That was his peak. It is what it is. But we've seen here with Portland Trail Blazers, they're not going to make the playoffs. They brought in Melo. They had Zach Collins. You had Nurkic that were hurt for majority of the season with all of their bigs. And it was just a bad situation, and it was. If the Blazers was actually healthy, they would have been in the playoffs for sure. But they definitely got to retool. You have Damian Lillard, who's 30 years old as of right now. And you may want to break up the CJ McCollum experiment with Dame Dalla. I think if they would look to bring back LaMarcus Aldridge, probably see if they can sign DeMar DeRozan in free agency. If that's the case, if they want to get a little more experimental, you can always bring in Chris Paul and move Dame Dolla to the shooting guard position. I doubt Damian would do that, but if he's actually aspiring for a championship, that's when you're 30 years of age. Stars usually start to humble themselves, and they'll try out new directions, new ways and methods, if that's the case. But let's see what he has right here. Ben Simmons for C.J. McCollum, Simons, and a 2021 first-round pick. Wow, that's a terrible trade for the Sixers. I'm going to see what his reason was here for the Sixers. So Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons are posting their worst two-man rating, of course. It's fair to point out the current roster construction doesn't do Embiid Simmons favors. So they're pretty much saying if you swipe Ben Simmons for C.J. McCollum, that's justifiable. No, Ben Simmons is worth at least 3 first-round picks, and if not that, then a star player. C.J. McCollum has not even made an all-star game when it comes to it. And no, I disagree with that. But hey, if you're the Blazers, if you were to get Simmons, oh, you're set. You are set for the future. But no, that's not a very unrealistic trade when it comes to it. And the Sixers, if they were going to move someone, they would move Embiid. They're looking to build their core foundation with Ben Simmons as it is. But no, I mean, I already gave you guys what I was thinking the Blazers should do. Look to bring in LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan. If not that, let's see if you can get a Chris Paul alongside with like a LaMarcus Aldridge. And another player they can try to go for as well is Gordon Hayward. I know he has $30 million left on his last contract, but if that's the case, you need another wing that can be able to – not another wing, but you need a wing player that can be able to handle the offense and score. Because with CJ and Dame, they're very similar in their positions and how they play, let alone they're 6 foot and 6'3". So same thing we've seen with the Wizards. You can't have your 2 best players play pretty much the same and their point guard, shooting guard in your backcourt. You need some spread. We're going to move over here to Colorado. So a big 3 for Denver. Let's see what he's got right here. So they're going to trade away Gary Harris, Michael Porter Jr., a 2021 first-round pick for Bradley Beal. I've actually mentioned this in the past, guys. If I'm Denver, I think Bradley Beal, a great place for him to be, and that's his talents are much required, and it's a perfect role, would be the Denver Nuggets. And I think the Wizards would really look into this. You're going to get Michael Porter Jr., who's a young potential star in the future, potentially. Hopefully he's not injury-prone as it is, continuing his tenure and career. But they'll get the cap flexibility. You'll probably have to ask for 2 or 3 first-round picks when it comes to it. I don't really know if there's any other young players in Denver. I mean, maybe Bol, but he doesn't play as it is. But, something like that. But if it's like 3 first-round picks or 2 and Michael Porter Jr., the Wizards possibly may do it. I think they can get better offers in the market. But if you're the Denver Nuggets, you're going to lose in either the first or second round. And you really need to put a team together with Jamal Murray alongside with Nikola Jokic. They need that, that big-time option player, which is Bradley Beal. He's in a great scenario. He's on a sinking ship when it comes to the Wizards. He needs out, and the Nuggets require much of his talents. So I like the direction they're looking at Bradley Beal. They just need to adjust this trade offer. But as well as the Denver Nuggets, if they can go for – there's not really another true player they can go for that's a great fit, true impact. I think someone they should look to do is bring in Ricky Rubio at the 1, move Jamal Murray to the 2. You can always trade away Gary Harris as it is, maybe even Will Barton. But I would like that fit if you had Ricky Rubio alongside with Jamal Murray. And then you have Jokic at your 5, maybe even the 4. He did lose 30 pounds. We got to see how he plays. He may be like more Porzingis type. They got to see if they're going to let go of Paul Millsap in free agency. You may want to bring in a Danilo Gallinari if that's the case. I think you can probably sign him for like $15 million for a year or 2. But the team's restructuring. I expect them to really retool either with a big trade like this or with some offseason moves with the new direction. If they lose in the first or second round, either or. All right, so we're going to move over here to the Big D, Dallas, Texas, with the Mavericks. Let's see what trade proposal they have here. So the Dallas Mavericks, they're going to give away Maxi Kleber, who's a very underrated great center. a stretch five in this day and age. He needs a couple more years to have experience and progress. But him, Tim Hardaway Jr., Jalen Brunson, 2020 first round pick, 2025 first round pick. Oh wow, okay, and a second round pick for Rudy Gobert. If you're the Jazz, you're not going to let this happen. There's no reason for the Jazz to do so. You're trying to build a team with Donovan Mitchell, and in return, you're just getting role players. I know you will get some first-round picks and cap flexibility, which is cool, but it's not justifiable to trade away Rudy Gobert for that. On the Dallas Mavericks side, that's perfect. The Mavericks have always lacked on a true center, even in the Dirk Nowitzki era. The only time they did have was the 2 seasons when they had Tyson Chandler in 2011 and 2015. I'm unfamiliar if Tyson Chandler joined in 2014. I don't remember. I think he was on the 2014. No, not 2014. 2010 team. Either 2010, 2011, and 2015. Either 2 or 3 seasons, but direct impact, great front court. Same thing. KP pretty much kind of plays that somewhat of a Dirk role, so use the same formula. And if they can get Rudy Gobert, shoot for a JaVale McGee as a free agent signing, maybe even trade for DeAndre Jordan. He was a perfect fit for them at the 5. And that's all the Mavericks need. They're a great offensive team. They just need more of a bigger presence because you do have Dwight Powell. You have Bogdanovic as well as Maxi Kleber, who plays the 5 from them from time to time, but they're more stretch 5s and not a true dominant center in the paint. So I would like that move if you're the Mavericks. The Jazz, I don't like that at all whatsoever. The Utah Jazz really need a pair, like to bring back Gordon Hayward or a wing that can be able to score. Maybe even Michael Porter Jr. as well. Houston gets a little bigger. Yeah, I think the Rockets will go back to getting bigger because they're probably going to let go of Mike D'Antoni. They're not going to re-sign him at the end of this offseason. I think they'll probably lose in the first round or the second round, worst case scenario when it comes to it. PJ Tucker at your 5 is not going to get it done. They're going to be exposed in the playoffs as we pretty much expected for them to be. Pretty much, let me give my kind of prediction what they need to be. I think if they're going to let go of Mike D'Antoni, you're not going to have to bring in Mike Thibodeau or Tom Thibodeau. There's talks of that. It doesn't make any sense. I don't see a true coach that really fits this team and this makeup and that can be able to have the tenure in the NBA to where they can pretty much shut up Russell Westbrook and James Harden, pretty much tell them how to play a certain style. Mike D'Antoni's been in the league for at least 15 years. And he pretty much was a yes man to both of them. But they do need to get bigger. You're going to be stuck with Harden and Westbrook as your backcourt. You need to bring in a small forward who can be able to score on his own accord, let alone if you can bring in like a DeMarcus Cousins, maybe even sign DeMar DeRozan for a cheaper contract in free agency. I doubt he'll do that, but is what it is. So this is a simple trade. Eric Gordon for James Johnson. I disagree. James Johnson's pretty much just a normal role player that can be a stretch 4 for a team. He was effective when he was on the Miami Heat a year or two back. But Eric Gordon has the culture of this team. He's kind of like the J.J. Barea or a Devin Harris of the Mavericks. So that's more of a culture, guy leaving, and that's just bad for rapport and morale when it comes to the team and chemistry. No, I don't agree with that. I mean, James Johnson's a good stretch 4, but I mean, fairly similar because they have like Jeff Green, DeMar Carroll. Their contracts are going to expire, but they need some bigger moves to be made if you're the Rockets. They also could bring in LaMarcus Aldridge if they really want to slow down in the front court or in the half court. But it depends on what coach they do bring in, so that's step 1. The Clippers will get even more switchable. Okay, so probably more defensive presence. They're going to give away Patrick Beverley, Lou Williams, and a 2020 second-round pick for Aaron Gordon. No, sir, that's a terrible pick. Lou Williams has been coming up in the clutch so many times before Kawhi and Paul George were there. He's one of the greatest 6-man in NBA history, top there. Patrick Beverley has championship DNA written all over him. He's a pit bull. Aaron Gordon does not fit with the Clippers whatsoever. He's undersized as a power forward, not because 6'8" is small, but he is 6'8", and he is craftier and lengthier. He doesn't have as much muscle, let alone he's not as a stretch 4. He's in a weird spot. This makes no sense. Aaron Gordon is going to be he needs to be on a young team to get playing time and progress. So a franchise can have potential, let alone they can have him. But no, he doesn't fit with the Clippers, this team at all. I would not give away Patrick Beverly and or Lou Williams for that. No, sir. Last one with the Los Angeles Lakers and the Bucks shuffle. They may do a Chris Middleton. I think they'll probably do like a Chris Middleton for a. I don't know who the Lakers would give up. Let's see. So they said Eric Bledsoe, Wesley Matthews for Danny Green, Alex Caruso, and the 2020 first round pick. Wow. No, there's no need for either of these teams. LeBron wants to play the point guard position, even though they're lacking on a true point guard on their team. LeBron is in the point of his career to where he's pretty much played point guard, but now he can finally get the official title. And once LeBron pretty much has the cookie, you can't take it away from him. Even though Eric Bledsoe is very good, he's an underrated player, let alone a contending point guard for any championship team. Wesley Matthews, his contract is actually going to expire anyway, so you can't make that trade unless he were to re-sign. No, I like Danny Green on the Lakers. He's a perfect championship shooting guard. Wesley Matthews is kind of in that same realm or tier or DNA that could be. But Danny Green has 2 championships, let alone just won the championship last season. Alex Caruso, chemistry guy. People love him. He's great with the fans and everyone else, so you can't let him go just out of that for no reason. But it is what it is. Wesley Matthews, Danny Green play fairly similar. I'd rather have Danny Green as of right now. Bledsoe is an upgrade, but LeBron pretty much wants to run point guard, so we'll just keep it off there. But yeah, that's the article. The one I really liked was the Bradley Beal acquisition. If he were to get traded to the Denver Nuggets, but you have to mess with some of those, trade details and such. But interesting article for Mr. Dan Bailey. I've seen a lot worse when it comes to the Bleacher Report. But yeah, let's keep an eye out, see what other news that can happen in transactions, free agency.